Dear friends,
Subscribe to my channel, Viral Story Hub.
we share amazing stories every day.
So don't forget to subscribe.
Rachel Halbert, a white American woman, became the mother of triplets in the year 2016. The look on the doctors' faces when they saw the three babies, each of whom had a skin tone that was radically different from their parents', was one of confusion. Do you think Rachel's being used as a surrogate for a black man? Or do you think she's cheating on her boyfriend? Neither. Rachel grew raised in the southern state of Mississippi in the United States. She's a Christian evangelical who has traveled to the island nation of Haiti numerous times to preach to the people there. Aaron Halbert was the subject of her second blind date in 2014, and she fell in love with him at first sight. Aaron's father was a Christian evangelical missionary in Honduras, where he was born and raised. Honduras is a country that's multi-ethnic and multi-ethnic in nature. The majority of the population is made up of Indian and Spanish descendants. Additional ethnic groups include Indians 6%, blacks 2%, and whites 1%. While growing up, Aaron was the only boy who had blonde hair and blue eyes in the neighborhood where he resided. Aaron's family relocated to Mississippi when he was a child of 10 years old. Later on, he took over his father's business and went on to serve as an evangelical missionary in the Philippines. Rachel and Aaron both want to make a difference in the world through evangelism, and their shared values and objectives have brought them closer together. They were engaged for 2 years before getting married. As soon as the couple was married, they were assigned to work as English teachers in a bilingual school on the outskirts of Honduras' capital city. According to Rachel, this is a unique honeymoon excursion, and she's looking forward to seeing the site where Aaron spent his childhood years. Time passes by at breakneck speed. The two of them are involved in the local church, both teaching and assisting. They believe that a great deal of evangelical work remains to be done and that the time has come for the expatriation to come to a stop. They're forced to return to the United States, which they despise. Adoption and embryo adoption are two types of adoption. Due to the fact that Aaron and Rachel are in love, they've decided to adopt a child in the future. They believe that participating in adoption is the most effective way to support anti-abortion activists. The protection of children, according to them, is not a charitable act, nor is it a component of a political agenda, but rather something that's close to the heart of God. Following their marriage, the couple sought advice from an adoption agency while also attempting to conceive naturally. They would prefer African-American children for adoption due to the fact that white children are always adopted first and that African-American children have a low likelihood of getting adopted. "We are willing to accept any child with the exception of Caucasian children," Aaron told the adoption agency. Aaron and Rachel chose 2 children, a boy and a girl, based on the information provided by the adoption agency. The boy was named Ford and the girl was named Catherine, and the girl was a mix of both boys and girls. Parental race is white, whereas the children are black. A lot of people will take notice of this unusual family no matter where they travel. "We are well aware that white spouses with dark-skinned children, particularly in the south of the United States, will elicit a wide range of reactions," Aaron said. "At Walmart, we frequently come across older white women who are filled with disdain. Some African-American mothers shook their heads and sighed in our direction as they looked at us. When a young black girl discovered that the small kid in question was our son, she broke down in tears. There was also an older white doctor who embraced us with warmth and kindness. Dear son, please pray for him. We do not believe that there's no such thing as race. On the contrary, we celebrate the diversity of human beings, and we believe that diversity makes the world a more beautiful place. God has created people with a variety of skin tones, personalities, and talents to express themselves. We should appreciate the existence of these disparities rather than rejecting or despising these distinctions." Aaron and Rachel, who have 2 children, continue to feel a sense of obligation to the cause, and they hope to adopt additional children. They learned about embryo adoption from a mutual friend. As IVF and other assisted reproductive techniques have become more widely available, many couples are choosing to freeze their embryos for future use. In the United States, almost 1 million embryos have been frozen over the course of the last few decades. All of these options include donating embryos to scientific research institutes, freezing them, destroying them, or allowing them to die on their own. Aaron and Rachel made the decision to help these small lives because they feel that if Christians or anyone truly believe that life begins at conception, then we should support embryo adoption and we are willing to engage in it. A non-profit organization, the National Embryo Donation Center (NEDC), accepted their donation and helped them connect with potential receivers of embryo donations. Rachel began getting hormone therapy in September 2015 in order to prepare for the possibility of obtaining embryos. She had 2 embryos placed into her body by the doctor a few months later, after they'd been frozen for 15 years. They traveled to the capital with their 2 children before finding out whether the transplant had been successful. Aaron and Rachel were anxious to return to Honduras to continue their missionary work there. Approximately 6 weeks after the embryo transfer, they traveled to a small hospital where they asked the doctor to examine Rachel in broken Spanish. "Are you certain that you transplanted 2 embryos?" the doctor inquired. Because of the incomprehensible emotions on the faces of the 2, the doctor pointed to the ultrasound screen and explained that one of the fertilized eggs had split, and Rachel was carrying triplets in her womb. Aaron and Rachel desired a large family of between 4 and 5 children. They hadn't anticipated receiving it in such a short period of time. They couldn't keep their joy from showing, and they were convinced that everything had been orchestrated by God. In addition to Ford, who is 3 years old, and Catherine, who's 2 years old, were thrilled. Every night they kissed Rachel's stomach and whispered good night to the small lives that were growing inside of her. After welcoming the 3 small girls into their home, Aaron and Rachel expressed gratitude to God for their good fortune, saying, "Oh, how grateful we are to God for blessing us and allowing us to care for these precious children." A buddy of mine who adopted a child told me that he wanted his home to seem like a miniature United Nations, Aaron explained. Our understanding of race played a crucial role in our family's life as we began the adoption process, and we pondered what it would be like to have a multicultural family. The beauty of a multi-ethnic family is found in the diversity of its members. In reality, it's this distinction that allows us to feel more fulfilled. It forces you to reevaluate your communication and lifestyle in a different light. When I took my son to the hairdresser, I discovered that it was being used as a barbershop. Being able to converse with only white people and African-American friends is a wonderful and gratifying experience. According to statistics, roughly 120,000 people are adopted each year in the United States, with just 8% of those adoptions being interracial. In addition to adopting 2 children of African origin, Aaron and Rachel provided a safe and nurturing environment for youngsters who did not have equal opportunity. This is already a rare occurrence in the world. However, it's they who are the most shocking and perplexing of all. Adoption of embryos is a legal procedure. In our opinion, embryo adoption is a rational approach to support life, but in the eyes of others, it's still a problem that needs to be explained on a regular basis, says the author. Aaron and Rachel are both fertile, but they've been unable to conceive through normal means so far. In response to the question, Aaron stated, "If God wants us to have another white child, my wife will conceive naturally." They did not attempt to employ assisted reproductive technology in order to have their own children on the basis of this conviction. It's the ambition of the 2 of them to establish a family that's multi-ethnic in composition. We are only in the process of realizing our dream, a dream that may not appear to be typical of a typical family. We are grateful that our dream has come true, they say. God has called us to do nothing more than react to His call by allowing the world to see the truth and beauty of the gospel and by welcoming children into our own families, just as God has led Christians into our own huge family. There are many people who are confused, and there are many people who are sympathetic to their plight. Almost all of our friends and family members have shown strong support for our family and the unconventional way in which we're raising our children. We are quite ecstatic. Even though embryo adoption may not be appropriate for everyone, Aaron and Rachel are great candidates. Rachel described this as a wonderful and unusual experience. They were courageous and selfless, the biological parents who donated the embryos were told, and knowing that their own children will be raised by strangers would be extremely hard for them. They may have made the decision to donate frozen embryos for adoption by others, which was the most difficult decision they had to make. There are many people who believe that adopting a child is more significant than adopting an embryo. Aaron and Rachel both believe that they're equally essential to the world. We're not suggesting that those embryo lives are more important than the lives of babies and children waiting to be adopted all around the world, Rachel explained. No, they're not more vital than the others, rather they're both equally important. We hold the lives of all children with high regard. It's reasonable that Aaron and Rachel's practice of rescuing embryos is acceptable in the United States because 75% of white evangelicals consider abortion an immoral activity. Aaron and Rachel hope that through sharing their stories, more individuals who are interested in adopting children will become aware of the possibility of embryo adoption. It is the good fortune of 5 children to have parents like Aaron and Rachel. Fraternity and super kinship ethics are emphasized in Christian teachings. Aaron and Rachel, who are ardent Christians, are confident in their ability to treat biological children and adoptive children equally. The most admirable characteristic of Aaron and Rachel, in my opinion, is that they set a wonderful example by campaigning for equality for all people, regardless of color or age. What they do in the United States, where racism is profoundly ingrained, is light as a feather. Despite the fact that it's insufficient to illuminate the entire darkness, it does bring enlightenment and inspiration to a greater number of individuals.